Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on The Merchant of Venice, and today we are in Act 3, Scene 1, wherein we get to hear from Shylock. Now, things that have happened to Shylock. He lent money to Antonio, so Antonio could lend it to Bassanio, so Bassanio could go woo Portia, and we've seen a couple guys try to woo Portia and fail because they picked the wrong boxes. Bassanio has gone to try to woo Portia, and in the meantime, Antonio has been waiting for his ships that he had sent out to come back in so that he will have enough money to pay Shylock back. And those ships are due back like a month before he owes the money back to Shylock. So he's kind of been, just kind of chill about it. He's like, this isn't going to be a big deal. Shylock, meantime, had to go to a dinner that he really hated. And while he was at that dinner, his daughter ran away with Lorenzo because she's ashamed of her heritage and she wants to renounce her faith and become a Christian and marry Lorenzo. And the two guys whose names start with S's helped Graziano and Lorenzo get Jessica out of her house so she could escape. So she has run away, and Shylock has not necessarily taken that very well because, your kid runs away and steals a bunch of money and jewels and stuff like that when she leaves. That's upsetting. He doesn't know where she is or what she's doing and all of that. So anyway, we start out Act 3, Scene 1 with the two guys whose names start with S's, either Salario and Solanio or Salarino and Salario, depending on which version you're reading. And the two of them are talking. They've turned into sort of a weird Greek chorus that'll give us updates on stuff that's happening off stage. So they're talking about the fact that they're pretty sure that one of Antonio's ships, at least one of Antonio's ships, has been shipwrecked and lost at sea, and that this is a very bad turn of events for Antonio, and they hope that his other ships are okay. And they're like, yeah, but there's no way that Shylock is actually gonna make him give a pound of flesh if he can't pay him back. That's totally bizarre, right? And then, as if on cue, Shylock comes in and he is full of rage and fire and fury because he knows that the two guys whose names start with S's helped Jessica escape. So he rails at them for a little while and they're like, yep, we knew she wanted to get away and we're so proud that we helped her get away and all that sort of stuff. And this is not necessarily the best way to interact with a freaked out parent. And Shylock is getting angrier and angrier, and the other two guys are like, you know what, so what if she ran away? What's the big deal? Did you hear about Antonio's ship? Is it true that it was shipwrecked? And are you actually going to make him pay the bond? And Shylock is like, yes, I'm going to make him pay the bond if he doesn't pay me back. And they're like, but what would you want with a pound of his flesh? What good does a pound of his flesh do you? What can you do with that? And Shylock says, to bait fish withal. If it will feed nothing else, it will feed my revenge. He hath disgraced me and hindered me 500,000, laughed at my losses, mocked at my gains, scorned my nation, thwarted my bargains, cooled my friends, heated mine enemies. And what's the reason? I am a Jew. Have not a Jew eyes? Have not a Jew hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions, fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, subject to the same diseases, healed by the same means, warmed and cooled by the same winter and summer as a Christian is. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge? If we are like you in the rest, we will resemble you in that. If a Jew wrong a Christian, what is his humility? Revenge. If a Christian wrong a Jew, what should his sufferance be by Christian example? Why? Revenge. The villainy you teach me, I will execute, and it shall go hard, but I will better the instruction. So there's probably bits of this that you've heard before somewhere in some context, and it might be in defense of human rights, the civil rights movement, religious equality, all of these sorts of things. That whole "if you prick us, do we not bleed" gets quoted a lot, and it's a beautiful point. And for as much as Jewish people were mistrusted and disliked at that particular time in history and at various points throughout history, I think that it's kind of cool that this is in there, that there's a plea for humanity sort of across the board, regardless of beliefs. You know, we're all humans. We all get hurt the same way. We all want things. We all need things. We all get cold in the winter and warm in the summer, all that sort of a thing. But I think that it's interesting also that he ends the speech with a sort of, "I learned it by watching you." So yes, you ask me if I'm going to actually take this bond because you think that it's cruel, but you have treated me with nothing but cruelty all these years, so why should I treat you with anything other than that? He's saying it's okay if a Christian seeks revenge on a Jewish person. It's somehow not okay for a Jewish person to seek revenge on a Christian person. He's like, that's a messed up double standard, and I'm not going to stand for it. So you taught me that revenge is what someone should, in my situation, should seek, so I'm going to seek it. And they're like, whoa, that's like a lot. And then a messenger comes in and tells the guys whose names who start with S's that Antonio has been looking for them and waiting for them. And they throw like one more jab at Shylock, and then they see one of Shylock's friends approaching, a man named Tubal, who's another Jewish merchant in Venice. And they're like, oh my God, here comes another one. We better get out of here quick. And they leave. And then tomorrow we get into the conversation between Shylock and Tubal. So I will see you then for that.